Hello there, me Ddraig here, and just a quick note before I get started. So this is going to be the campaign overview of the Greenskins update but for Yucky's Overhaul. So as you saw, well, if you've seen my first video, well, you can get on the screen now, which is the unit roster of the Greenskins and a bit more in-depth look at the actual how units work in Yucky's Overhaul. On the day I was actually exporting that video, I looked and Yucky had updated the mod to the Empire update. So, good timing on my part. So what we're going to do is continue looking at the Greenskins, and I'm planning to do another video on that update as well, because I like to cover the major mods. So it's be same with SFO, Boys v Boys, any major changes. I'm hopefully going to cover that on my channel. But in the meantime, let's concentrate on the Greenskins update. So here we are with Grimgore in the Basidians. Well, Black anyway. So I'm going to go through all the Edgelord's skill trees. But just for the campaign mechanics, which I'm going to concentrate on this part in this section. So first of all, there's Grimgore. That's his stats. I think I put them in my unit roster. Actually, I did put them in my unit roster, so we don't need to dwell on that. And that's his starting army. So he starts off with the Immortals, as he should. Well, stats figure speaks for himself, and I've already gone over those units in my overview, so we don't need to dwell on that. So what are the differences for the campaign? So let's start off with unit recruitment. So when I go to recruit now, so I've got a few options, but as you can see, teeth. The currency for the Greenskin is completely changed, so we don't go for gold anymore. We don't pay their units, because in your or Greenskins in general don't have any use for that type of thing. Their actual currency is teeth, which they can gather from the battlefields or from downed opponents, etc. So to rectify this, Yucky has decided to change the currency completely and do it like this. So every unit just costs so much teeth to purchase, and as you can see, if I hover over any of these, there is no upkeep. So there's no limit on how many you can recruit for this army. I can max it out with all these units, not a problem. And I'll come to how you get more armies in a bit. So that's how you get units in the roster. So let's have a closer look at the building tree, which has also changed quite considerably. So here we are in the building tree. And we got the general things, like you got Dork's Rock even, BigfooT, so you got capacities. And the way Yucky has changed infantry recruitment is very interesting. If you look on, I'll just hover over this for a second, and you can see capacity +2 orc choppers, +2 orc stickers. And as I remember, if you remember my unit video, I noticed that there's an icon, which used to be a red icon, this is now this blue icon, and it's a capacity. And all this means is that to build more of this type of units, you have to go up this tree. So as you can see, as I go up, you get more capacity for each type of unit. Or there's also skill trees for each of the Yords and all the Yords, which up your capacity at that. And there's also, of course, the tech tree, which I'll get to in a bit. So, as you remember from my units roster video, there's a lot of new units, and this is where you can recruit more from. So there's the Colossal Squigs there, and you also got all of the new unit Black Orcs up top here. Also, as you might see, every building will provide a garrison. So as you up it up, you get a better garrison. So on top tier, you get 1 Black Orcs and 1 Orc Cowboys. Now, apart from that, the vast proportion of these buildings will provide a garrison as well as what they bring. So that allows you to cater how you want the garrison to look like in each building. Obviously, there's going to be tailored to how much you need a particular unit, but it adds a little bit more subtlety to your building tree, I find. I really like this touch. It's a really nice touch. So like if I build that, I get a Goblin Muckler as in the garrison. And I'll just quickly show you the garrison as it stands for here. So being Black Crag, it's pretty heavily defended anyway. And you've got some Orc Choppers. Obviously the unit recruitment has not been, the casualty replacement hasn't kicked in yet. But as you can see, that's a good starting one. Let's get back to that tree. So as we scroll along, we got all these infantry ones. So there's all the unit recruitments, you got Orc Shamans, and as you can see, capacity is changing for each one. So every time you unlock it, you get extra capacity. So if I went to Iron Rock and I captured Iron Rock, I could add another one of these muster fields and get more capacity for these type of units, and so forth. So you can't just have one of these in certain places and then that's it, like in vanilla. You have to really think about where you want your garrisons, where you want to be, when you have to recruit more of a particular type of unit you like. Like if you want a lot of greenskins, a lot of black orcs, you have to have a lot of these black orc barracks all over the map. I believe some of these actually, yeah, there's one that increases the capacity as well. So always look in the little trees, these little tooltips, and you can see exactly what you're going to get. So let's move on from the infantry, and we've got some more units here. We've got the usual standard ones, but each one of these has been changed from vanilla. Some are similar, but some are completely changed to go with Yucky's general feel of the campaign and how he wants it run. So the only way you can get actual income is these buildings, and of course fighting and raiding, the usual things. But there is no actual income because all the armies don't cost anything to run. Like Grimgo here has no upkeep for his army at all. So it really adds. It's much like the Tomb King's campaign. Exactly how this works. You build what garrisons you want. You build your buildings, and then you build up your army, big as you like, or up to the maximum 20, obviously, and then send it out. And that is pretty much the basis of the campaign. As you can see, you start in the same price. All the orders start at the same price. Skarsnik starts off by the Empire. Grimgor and Azag both start here, and the Shaman, for some reason his name escapes me, starts off over here with his, oh my word, my memory for the moment, Savage Orcs. There we go. I know I get that in the end. So there, Savage Orcs start over here. So that hasn't changed, but the actual map mechanics are identical. Right. With that being said, I'm gonna leave it here and go to the next section. So this is the Goblin Workshop under Yucky's mod. So as you can see, it's completely changed from vanilla experience. So I'll take you through what it was, and as I went over in the campaign part of this video, with all the building improvements and things like that, you don't have armies. You have to actually increase dominance to increase your army capacity, much like what Tomb Kings do. So every level of this, you get an extra army, and as you can see, there's debuffs for every time you do it. And that is the only way you can increase your dominance and army capacity. That is to say, the WARG mechanic is still in the game, and that does not count to your army capacity. So as soon as you hit the WARG and you create a new army, that doesn't matter about the army capacity. It's just your own permanent army capacity. So as we move back down here, we'll start off with Night Goblins. So we've got Night Goblins, and as you can see, technology costs are per turn. As you read there, you have to re-enable it if you use that one out of teeth. So you've got Fungus Beer, and all these are completely different. So I'm going to have to go through each one. So what I'll do, I'll just hover over each one. So you've got a bit of a general idea what these type of things do. So you've got one there for movement speed, Fanatics, so gain abilities. So you got more launches of the Fanatics, always handy. Produm, get those squig units, a bit more damaging. Get charge bonus for all squigs, and hooray! So a recruitment duration -1 for all squig units. So as you can see, there's a theme down each one. So you got Night Goblins, theme. You got the Orcs, so let's go for the Orcs. Exactly the same thing. So you got an armor rendering ability on contact. It's got Ball Breeding, Perfect Vigor. Big Guns get Enforced Discipline. Disables Rampage. That's very good. That is very handy. That's well worth the investment. Because if you remember from my unit roster, all the Orcs or standard Orcs have the Rampage ability as default. So very handy. Stops your heroes using it all the time and gives you an extra use. Some more biggest and hardest. So that's plus 10 AP and plus 10 melee attack. Constant. Very nice. Back up to Armor Sundering, which is always good. I have Armor Sundering ability, especially against dwarves. Damn it, dwarves with those armors. And you got a Heavy Shot, plus 25% missile damage when an enemy is within 75 meters. So that really just shows how much power the Orc Cowboys have. So, moving on. The good stuff. So this is all about artillery. Artillery and... yeah, for monsters and artillery. That's why trolls are there. So you got Enhanced Regeneration. Tough Skin. Sky Terror. Rangefinder. Troll Sinew, and finally more recruits. So it's up to you how you want to continue your campaign. Now, obviously, some of these are not ridiculously expensive, but as you can see, this is what you spend your teeth on. I was going to say cash then, but let's stick to what we should be talking about, which is teeth. So you got these, and you got the buildings. Some buildings cost a bit more, some don't. Some of the more exclusive buildings obviously cost a lot more. Moving on, the runts. So this is all about the goblins. So buffs, as you can see, are plating there for chariots, spiky bits, bonus for infantry, very nice. And not worth the thief, so we've got minus 100% for goblin stickers stabbers. So that basically means you have 3 units of goblins and stickers. Very nice. And quickly fill up your army. Obviously, 100. That's pretty powerful ability right there. So that would be very good on the Scar Six campaign, I would say, especially at the start, because he only has access to goblins, much like he does at vanilla. Fight with the Forge, but you need a building for this. A goblin tinker badge. So this is best weapons. So you got swords, axes, spears, bows, siege engines, and improved reels. So usual stuff. And then you got dominance down the side. So that's a quick look at the Goblin Workshop. Just so you got a bit of a flavour of which way to go. I would usually say, depending on which you already choose, like Skarsnik, you want to get the runts first because you're going to be running with goblins quite a lot. Orcs, definitely Grimgore, and possibly Azag as well. And then particularly the good stuff maybe for the other general. So name escapes me for the moment. Other than that, interesting tree, as I'm sure you agree, and a very different way of playing your campaigns. And you got 30,000 to get +1 capacity. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 armies with Warg, 16 armies. You'd be rolling a that to a point. Right, and that's the end of that section.